For folks who are recording now, it's the silent word, page 348, bottom two paragraphs. The following days were spent during turning the primary school premises into a high school, fixing the courses, forming classes, and preparing timetables. Daka Falkar, B.A., was appointed principal, and Chanji, Gaikwar, Nisal, Mama, and Vishnu were the staff. On the 1st of March, the Hazrat Babajan High School came into existence. Ramju, Doctor, and Abdul Tayyab came from Lanavla and asked Baba to settle some differences that had arisen between them, which he did, and they returned home. But a few days later, Doctor and Ramju came again, as they had fallen out over the agreement arrived at in Baba's presence. Baba came late from the Jobti and was ill pleased to see the pair again, especially Ramju, and told him that his mill business would suffer because of this lack of harmony. He again reconciled them, but told them not to bring their business affairs to him. Some Parsi ladies and gentlemen came to see Baba. One of them, a girl, was suffering from a malady that did not respond to any treatment, and her parents asked Baba to bless her. Baba said that she would soon be all right. Not content with that, an old man tried to question Baba about his silence. He said, "Why have you stopped speaking? It is a loss to those who come to visit you, not to be able to hear your lectures and advice. What benefit can you bestow on the world by holding your tongue?" Baba listened patiently until the man had finished his say, and then told him that all his contentions were right. One of the ladies asked for something in writing as a remembrance of their visit, but she was told that Baba had also, along with his silence, given up writing. This was too much for them. A holy teacher who did not speak or write, and they soon left. Masaji once again took over the kitchen with Ardashir as his offsider. Must be a cricket term. Janji, or maybe it's football. Chanji was kept busy with correspondence and visits to Bombay and Pune. On one of his trips, he brought his friend Nauroji Talati and his family from Pune. With them was a young Persian student, Mayorji Karkaria, who lived with the family and who later became one of Baba's key men. Baba began again occupying the seat under the table near the Dooney. He hangs out under the table, folks. Also, I used to love doing that. Yeah. Also, he ground flour again. He told Chanji that he would stay at that seat for 1,200 years. The evenings continued to be the harvests of the days, sitting around talking and discussing, with Baba at times giving a new discourse and shedding new light on perennial truths. Okay, I'm pause recording. Here you go. Here we have Kayleigh from South Carolina, North Carolina,
South Carolina, yes.
South Carolina.
Okay, hi guys. Um, One night he spoke of the great efficacy of mentally repeating the name of God. Concentrate the mind on the repetition alone to the exclusion of everything else. Breathing regularly while doing so. Inhale and exhale slowly and repeat the name of the Almighty has given you individually. Let other thoughts come, they will come, but try to drive them away and keep the mind cool and steady during the repetitions. Once you begin to develop a liking or taste for it, you will never leave this practice. On the contrary, you will find a secret pleasure in this duty. A tired, leprous police sub-inspector came to Baba and poured out his tale of misery. In addition to malady, he had to arrange for his daughter's marriage. He was greatly comforted by the
Comforted.
comforted. This is a lot of pressure, guys. Sorry. By the sympathetic attention Baba gave him and contrasted it with that received from Shri Shankaracharya, one of the
Beautiful.
four popes of Hinduism. Baba told him that he be helped through Mr. Borkar and Mr. Sata. A young sannyasi came hoping to be put on the path. Baba promised that he would do that for him, providing he stay under a tree in the colony. All went well for a while, and he kept to his seat. Then one day, some of the Mandalis stopped and chatted with him, saying how difficult it was to get in the spiritual line. They had been with Baba for 5 years now, and still no smell of the truth. At these words, the young sannyasi lost courage and left the place. Holy came and went without enthusiasm. Baba handed out sweats and told the Mandali, all that you do, do with all your might. After supper, they played Atya Patya for a couple of hours, and that put them all in a better mood before going to bed. Baba now made it clear that none of the staff, administrative or teaching, could have connections with other institutions because if they did, they could not follow his instruction to the letter and in the spirit he wanted of them. It was, for example, because of Borkar's and Sata's enthusiasm generated by outside interest and connections that Baba had even inspected the cotton market site, obviously Mehrabad with its established purposes and its being a hub of blessings to tens of thousands, even though many of its buildings have been demolished, was to be preferred to all other places. A letter on the expected non-participation of the staff and other interests were written to Borkar and taken to him by Vishnu. Borkar came out the next morning. He was very upset, and Baba talked to him for 4 hours. The upshot of it was that Borkar was willing to drop all other connections and do only as Baba directed him. Baba was pleased with this and told him that he would be the head of the new institution provided Sata was willing to give up his extra interest and be Borkar's assistant. Baba said it would work out well and be a great success if the workers remained sincere to the end and did as he told them. A new pessimism settled down over the place. There was no lack of faith in Baba's state of perfection, only a feeling of aimlessness in their lives. One said that Baba would begin to speak again in 1950. Rustam wanted to leave, and he discussed and disappointed. He was disgusted and disappointed with everything. In which case, Baba said, should there be any further connection between them, little by little, with the patience of love, Baba brought him round, and general illness was healed. As arranged earlier, the next morning, Baba and 18 of the Mandala, Baba with 6 in Rustam's Chevrolet and the others in a big truck, went to Mr. Raya's place for dinner. The host welcomed Baba in the great manner of the established Hindu householder, with pride and humility, and set before him and the Mandali a sumptuous meal. Rustam
Thank you,
informed, Okay, yeah.
Thanks, Kaylee.
Cool.
We'll
It's from Rustam, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. J Baba, and this is page 351. I continue. Rustam informed Baba that Sorabji Desai of Nafsari was due on the noon train. Baba asked him to bring him direct to the house. The train, however, was late, and the meal was finished, and the non supari, which is betel nut, had been served when he arrived. After he had paid his respects to Baba, Baba introduced him to their host and to the guests as one of the most popular Gujarati writers of the way. Then he was served with food. In the meantime, Baba received a note from another householder, Mr. Gadekar, requesting him to grace his humble home for tea, which he accepted. Baba invited Desai to accompany him on some house visits. First, they went to Bao Soheb Singer's place, then to the Hicks with several houses in between. The Hicks had prepared excellent tea, which they all enjoyed. Then on the Gadi cars, with many stops on the way. Here again, tea was served. At all these places, Baba was received with warmth and joy and worshipped through arti and puja. As he proceeded slowly in the car, people, not even knowing who he was, pressed forward to have his darshan. So beautiful was he to look at, and followed him in procession. Desai was greatly impressed by the deep devotion and enthusiasm among people of many different classes. Leaving Gadekar's house, Baba sent the truck back, but himself continued on to Rustamji's, where he stayed for a while and then returned to Mehrabad. R.K. Gadekar was the first of the Chamar caste who worked in leather to take a BA degree or bachelor degree. Baba blessed his studies and also helped him financially. He became a sounding board to the name of God and rose to be an assistant social welfare officer, a man esteemed in his community, and so was able to bring many to Baba. The Parsi New Year, Jamshid Nowruz, came round. As soon as the first bell of the day went out looking for ears to ring in, a great clamor and din was released from buckles and drums, kerosene cans from anything that would sound, along with joyous shouts and cries, shattering the silence which ordinarily the dawn gently disturbs among the trees. See, that's him. That's Francis. Breakfast of milk tea and Indian vermicelli was served at 6 o'clock. At 9, Baba ceremonially bathed, after which he allowed the people who had come out from the city and from the surrounding villages to worship him. Ardeshir sang in Persian style a new hymn written for the occasion. Vishnu took Desai Vishnu took Desai around the ashram, including the hill and Vithoba's temple in Arangat, and told him about the old ashram and its dismantling, and of the new one and its educational intentions. The visitor was immensely impressed with it all, but more so with Baba's personality, and he started seeing miracles everywhere. His hobby, he said, was to collect relics of holy men, and he had a big collection in his home. Baba gave him many things: photos of himself, rings, a Parsi sacred thread, sweets, fruit, coconuts, flowers, duniyash, and some hairs. While collecting some dust where Baba had walked, Desai suddenly thought that people might think him foolish. Later in the evening, without any reference to the matter, Baba said that Swami Vivekananda used to collect dust under his guru's feet and apply it to the foreheads of others.
Thanks.
Yes. Okay. Desai told Baba that their high priest at Navsari was devoted to spiritual matters and often went to visit an ancient yogi. Many of the community tried to stop their high priest going after non-Zoroastrian saints, but he refused to heed them. He even took off his shawl, the emblem of his office, and handed it to them, saying that he would never go against his honest convictions. Baba was very pleased to hear this and said it was a pity that because of false prejudices and a hollow sense of prestige, peoples tried to stop one seeking truth, and asked Desai on his return to tell the Dasturji to stick to his convictions, and that one day, if they met, Baba would explain truth to him so that he would understand, and he would guide him on the path. Whereupon Desai invited Baba to come to Navsari, and Baba said he would surely come one day. Desai was then asked to retire for the night. Then next day he would go to Kedgaon, accompanied by Chanji, pay his respects to Maharaj, and return home. Padri, Pendu, Dake, Rustum, Behram, and Sailor performed for Baba a comic play for 2 hours, and then all went to bed. Sailor left in the morning with Chanji and Desai to return to Pune. Sarosh was married, and there was a grand feast. Neither the bride nor her family accepted Baba, but he played his eternal waiting game, and after many years she found herself at his feet. In later years she became one of the social hostesses of Nagar, and so was the cause of many hearing about Baba. There was also the opening ceremony of the new home for Chagan and his wife. A road-weary Swami, weighed down with various ironmongery, asked permission to camp in one of the odd huts, but he became slovenly in his routine and untidy in his habits, leaving his unwashed pots about. He soon began to act in an arrogant manner, as though he were obliging Baba by staying at the place. The hotheads among the Mandali, and that does not necessarily mean the younger men, were incensed. But since Baba bore it patiently and seemingly cheerfully, they had to put up with the fellow. At last Baba had him called and suggested that now he had had a good rest, he might like to continue his wanderings. And so Baba got rid of him without hurting his feelings. On the 25th March, Baba called all the Mandali to the Duni seat to discuss the next step in the Meher Ashram matter. It will be remembered that a month earlier, 26th February, Baba with the Mandali had inspected a site near the cotton market in Nagar and approved of it. He now informed them that the school and all the buildings connected with it should be at Mehrabad under his constant eye, and the staff and pupils be in his continuous presence, for that was the sole and real purpose of the whole project. Baba then named the key staff, Mr. Borkar, head of the institution, Mr. Dake, principal and head of education, Bairamji, master of boarding and lodging, Vishnu, general assistant to Bairamji and Dake. The present school in the cottage in Arangaon was to be brought into Mehrabad proper, and accommodated in the Mandali's present mess quarters. A new place would be erected for the Mandali somewhere near the Duni and the well. Baba now said that many new men, including university graduates, would come to serve in this new institution, and if any of the old Mandali showed signs of hesitancy and unwillingness, they would be put on the retired list and be given 2 meals a day without any call for work being made on them. In short, he only wanted the alert and active in this new work. He also pointed out to them that once he conceived a plan, sooner or later it was put into action. This very project which they were now taking up was first discussed by him almost the moment he returned from Bombay to Mehrabad, and although it was apparently frequently shelved, it would soon bear fruit. After supper, the site for the new makan was selected, which was where the old Dharmshala had been.
Jai Baba. It's not recording, is it?
No.
Yes, now we're recording.
No.
Go ahead, Marvin.
Baba sat down for a while before retiring, and the talk turned on the tendency of the Bills toward banditry. Baba told them of one named Sakya Mang, who with his band had terrorized the countryside for years. Then Baba said, he had an urge to have my darshan. No, not at a public darshan. He would have been recognized. But secretly, when all you chaps, including the night watchman, were asleep, he came to me and confessed all his crimes. And I forgave him on condition that he never robbed again. He gave his promise, and he has held to it ever since, despite great hardships. You see, in asking him to give up robbery, I was actually robbing him of his means of support for himself and his family. They came near to starvation, for no one wanted to employ a brigand even though he had reformed. One night he became desperate and set off to a house in the village he knew could be burglared easily. He even knew where the householder's treasure was hidden. He broke in and was about to take the money and valuables when, he said, I appeared before him and reminded him of his promise. Gradually, the people lost their fear of him, and he obtained odd jobs, enough to keep him and his family going. Later, he demonstrated to me and a few of the Mandali his amazing capabilities, the most remarkable of which was his ability to climb a wall with his back. But Baba, in his compassion, kept him in poverty for the rest of his life, so that his sanskaras of violence should be worn thin and the link with Baba be made that would draw him to him in successive lives. A second Parsi New Year, called Khordad Sal, which is preferred by some Zoroastrians to Jamshed-e Navroz, celebrated a week earlier, was observed as a holiday at the ashram, but there were no ceremonies or feast. In the evening, Baba issued an order that all the Mandali were to approach him one at a time in the morning and remind him about the marriage of the daughter of a retired sub-inspector of police that evening. It will be remembered that this man, a cripple and very poor, had come to Baba a couple of weeks earlier seeking his blessings for his daughter, who was of marriageable age, but he had not the cash or goods to attract a suitable match. Now it had all been arranged, and Baba sealed the bargain with his presence. There was further talk about the new ashram. Some applications had been received from parents desiring to have their boys enrolled in the new school, but most of them ignored the main aim and object of providing spiritual training of the pupils. But they all wanted to know what training for material occupations would be provided and whether there would be separate accommodation for untouchables. It was a disappointing start. Baba said it showed that there was not yet a proper spirit among people generally, and so they had better drop the scheme altogether. Accordingly, Baba sent Padri into Nagar to tell Rustomji not to purchase any more building materials and not to pay for the galvanized iron roofing already received, as it was to be returned to the supplier. But later on in the day, another meeting was called, and Baba said that upon mature reflection, he had decided that it would be better, after all, to set the ball rolling. Why not, he said, send the printed forms of the rules and regulations of the proposed school to the applicants and see what comes of it. Even if we got 2, 5, 10, or 12 boys who were willing and fit to abide by all the rules and whose parents would let them pursue the whole course of studies, that would be a start. Anyway, we have 4 boys we could start with: Baban, Dutu, Vital, and Moulet. Also, we would not need to begin building yet. The present school would do for the general education, while one of the Mandali could look after the pupils' spiritual training. They could be lodged somewhere on the premises, and they could board with the Mandali. The Mandali all liked the idea, and Vishnu was asked to send the admission forms to applicants. Baba asked Kaikushru to write to Srinamai, Baba's mother, telling her to send his youngest brother, Adi, to him if she desired him to be put in the line. Probably not. Thus, God-man vacillated, because the world of our references swings from one point to its opposite and back. And he came here to demonstrate to his circle and all who have ears, eyes, and do to come in line that the world is but a happening within a dream. A sadhu, looking well-nourished, came and asked Baba to give him money for a train ticket to Hardwar and other sacred places to see the Mahatmas there. Baba asked him why. If he was bent on pilgrimage, did he want to travel by train? It would be more meritorious to walk from place to place to have darshan of the saints. The man seemed puzzled at this and left. Nisal left the ashram, being enticed from Baba by his mother's worldly talk. Baba felt his going very much and said he would come back. At one time, referring to the circle, Baba said, "The clocks are all wound, the alarms set, and at the exact moment for each will ring, wherever it is, near at hand or far away." But then, why remain at a distance? Why not always be in the company of the embodiment of truth? When the light comes, it will come in a second. Watch and wait patiently for the alarm and the light. Another time he said to the Mandali, in whatever you undertake, throw your whole heart and mind sincerely into it. Don't do anything half-heartedly, nor leave anything half done, nor have a mind wavering between two things. Take up one thing and finish it.
Thank you, Mark.
Mhm.
Go ahead. We're recording again. Diana?
Amma brought a woman who had deformed feet to Baba. As she approached him, somehow or other she lost her balance and fell down. Baba said that which had made her deformed had fallen down. The next morning she found that the deformity had disappeared and she was whole again.
Mm.
Baba called Chanji and had him sit with him for a long time. Padre and Baramji quarreled over a game of drafts. Baba reconciled them but prohibited further playing of the game. He also exempted Padre from all bindings of duties and petty rules, as Gustaji and Jal already were. The following day was a Thursday, Visitors' Day, but for some time now, not many came. Baba had a long talk with Padre and Baram over their quarreling the day before. It was eventually decided to free all the Mandali from petty rules and bindings in general, and to leave it to each individual himself to behave in a becoming manner. The allotted duties remained, but all were free to go about the colony wherever they wished, except to the women's quarters. This freedom, Baba told them, would help the Mandali to go on living together amicably should he lock himself up for any considerable time. In the evening, as they were gathered around the Duni, Baba explained something about life after death. What the ordinary human being sees and experiences after death, the yogi sees and experiences while still in his body. After death, for 4 days, the astral body remains about the place of death. Then it rises up towards the planes of higher consciousness, but cannot enter even the lowest of them. Rather, through it, the soul experiences pleasure and pain according to its good or bad actions in the past gross life. These experiences are commonly called heaven and hell. When the stock of punya, or virtue, and pap, vice, is exhausted, the soul again takes a gross body, that is reborn in the gross world. Yogis who misuse their powers, unless saved by one of the Sadgurus, are reborn in the stone state and have to go up the whole chain of evolution again before getting another human form. The human form is the best of all forms. It is the only form by which one can realize God. And until one has that realization, one has to continue taking birth after birth. The sanskaras of identification, the mind impressions which cause one to identify oneself as oneself, began as soon as the drops of self issued from the creation point in the ocean of truth, that it might become conscious and self-knowing. Thus, knowledge requires countless births to achieve, and during the course of these births, fresh sanskaras are being created every moment, till at last they become so thick and sticky that they remain about a person, dead or alive. The drop has forgotten its original mission and name, and is conscious only of the motion and momentum given it by the very sanskaras it must shed.
I think it's a good place.
Beg your pardon?
It's a good place to start because it said a lot.
Honey Bunny decides that.
Yeah.
Honey Bunny.
Well, we can stop the recording, or